Good evening, this is BBC Newsline. The headlines this evening are dominated by two very different sporting events.
I'm live on the Antrim coast as excitement builds on the eve of the 153rd Open Championship at Royal Portrush.
And I'm here in North Down, where there's a controversy after this club was forced to cancel a children's summer camp.
Also coming up on the programme, inflation is rising again. Prices went up by more than expected last month, and shoppers tell us they're cutting back.
Well, I used to do weekly, sometimes twice a week, but I don't do it now. It's every fortnight or once a month, because it's too dear, you can't afford it.
Back in Portrush, the golf fans have been camping out to catch a glimpse of the sport's very best players.
I know some people have been trying to get accommodation who are a bit older, and it's incredibly pricey.
Went up to the practice area, got some signatures. We got a flag, got some cool signatures, didn't we? We got a selfie with Cam Young.
I'm live at the court where play gets underway first thing tomorrow morning, and tonight we'll hear from the Irish major champion who's hitting the opening tee shot.
And it's been a fine day with some warm sunshine, but more unsettled weather is on the way. I'll have your full forecast shortly.
Good evening and welcome to BBC Newsline. I'm Chris Buckler and it's Wednesday the 16th of July, the eve of the Open. It won't surprise you that most of our programme comes from Royal Portrush tonight, with all eyes on Northern Ireland for the next few days as we host one of Northern Ireland's and golf's greatest tournaments. But the headlines tonight are dominated by another sporting event, a cross-community summer camp for children that has had to be cancelled. With more on that, let's head to Catherine, who's in a prime position overlooking Royal Portrush.
Yes, Chris, and what a view we have. The final practice day is drawing to a close behind me. It's been a day of glorious sunshine, spectacular scenery. Rarely has the Antrim coast looked any better. Tomorrow, this global event will finally get underway. But in County Down, a much smaller local sporting event will now not go ahead. The cross-community children's summer camp has been cancelled due to opposition from a local Orange Lodge due to the involvement of some children from a GAA club. It was due to take place on Friday at a cricket club in Comber. Our reporter Kevin Sharkey is there for us this evening. Kevin.
Well, Catherine, consider the contrast, the glory of a global sporting event there on the north coast. But here in North Down, controversy as this cricket club, very reluctantly and against its cross-community ethos, has had to cancel a children's summer camp. Young players in action at the North Down Cricket Club today. Local club members and a visiting team from India. But a cross-community group of young children from around North Down won't get to play here this week. Their opportunity has been denied after this club came under pressure online and from the local Gold Springs Orange Lodge. The club's original objective was to bring young people from different backgrounds together. The cricket club says the intention was to bring 10 local sports and community groups together. A small group of children from East Belfast GAA was to be part of it. And according to the club, the plan was simple: to get all these children to build new friendships through shared activities. Explaining its decision to cancel the event, the cricket club said, as reaction to the event grew, we felt the spirit of the camp was at risk of being lost. In its statement, the Orange Lodge said the presence of the GAA in Comber would be viewed with regret and opposition by many in the area. Their stance has drawn criticism from many community leaders.
I think this is sending a message that Northern Ireland needs to go a step further in the peace process. We can have wonderful showcase events like the Open, yet when it comes to local sport, there are still those that need to come a long way with the rest of us.
The Orange Order has declined a BBC request for an interview, as have some unionist politicians. but there has been some reaction from within the unionist community.
This is a complex situation. I think, the statement has been an own goal, it's been a misstep, but I think it would be remiss not to say there are wider issues that need to be addressed in society here.
The North Down Cricket Club has been praised for trying to bring different community groups together, and its parent body has pledged to help to arrange an alternative event.
If it can't go ahead this Friday in Comber, in North Down Cricket Club, then let's, as the governing body, between ourselves and the Northern Cricket Union, let's organise this ourselves and make it happen on an alternative date and, if necessary, in an alternative venue.
Children from this GAA club must now wait to find out when and where they can get a taste of playing cricket. Kevin Sharkey, BBC Newsline in Comber.
Well, here in Portrush, things are going largely to plan. There's been a slight change to the start time on Saturday. That's because of a band parade in the town. More than 70 bands and 2,000 people are due to take part on Saturday evening, just as the golf finishes nearby. And as our correspondent Mark Simpson has been finding out, efforts are underway to ensure that both events run smoothly.
This was the queue to get in today. Even more people are expected at the weekend. How they get out again on Saturday evening is what's giving the authorities a problem. A band parade is due to start in the town at 8:30. That's only around an hour after the golf is due to finish, but the organisers have a plan.
We've worked really collaboratively with the organisers and across multi-agency groups to ensure primarily that both events can run as seamlessly as possible. We're making a slight tweak to tee times to try and finish. It's not dramatic. It'll be 15 minutes or so earlier. It's very difficult to be precise on finishing times, but we're looking at some marginal adjustments.
Out on the course, there's a lot of golf to be played between now and Saturday night, and a lot of people here to watch it from all different parts of the world.
Austin, Texas. Atlanta, Georgia.
Greensboro, North Carolina.
Spartanburg, South Carolina.
First time in this part of the world?
Yes, sir. First time ever.
Where have you come from?
We've come from New Zealand.
Just down the road. What do you make of this part of the world?
Oh, love it. Love it. When we can understand them, we love it.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, it seems after about 6 p.m. at night they speak a different language.
Love it. Beautiful sunshine and an exciting event to come to.
Fantastic. Great hospitality. The Irish are lovely people. Very similar to New Zealanders. Like a drink and a laugh, but a crack.
But we're better at rugby.
Oh, right, well.
Absolutely awesome. It's weather's beautiful. The golf course is amazing.
Tens of thousands of people from dozens of different countries, all hoping for one thing, that the sun keeps shining as much as possible. Mark Simpson, BBC Newsline.
Well, I know some other people will be hoping for good weather this week. Anyone camping at the new campsite that's been set up, especially in the campus of the Ulster University at Coleraine. It's to try and make attending the event more affordable for families and young people. Our North East reporter, Maria McCann, has been along to find out more.
It's essentially a small village set up to host 1,850 golf fans on its busiest nights. They include people from 31 countries, and across the week 4,800 people are staying at the site. It feels very much like a festival here. There's a beer tent and food vans. Behind me there are glamping teepees. Over there's a family section and even a football pitch. Campsites were first set up at the Open at Troon in 2016 as the RNA said the biggest barrier for families and young people was the cost of accommodation.
If you take a family of four, they're paying £150 a night. They are just down the road for the Open. But along with that, they get all the open feel. The beer garden gets full. There are queues at all the catering outlets. Everyone's clapping and cheering to the music. We had a question and answer session last night with the caddies. Families have been every year. We've done the Open Camping Village. I've seen kids grow from, 5-year-olds and they're now teenagers.
The fact that it's free for under 25s is really big. I know some people have been trying to get accommodation who are a bit older, and it's incredibly pricey. It's borderline not doable.
Been here 2 days now. Saw some of the golf yesterday.
We're going to see Giant's Causeway, do a bit of tourism, maybe go to the beach, we'll see, then hopefully swing by the course for the afternoon, see some of our players tee off there, yeah.
And we looked online and there really wasn't a lot of places to stay that were reasonably priced. And we saw they had glamping and camping here. And we checked and there was spots available, so we took it right away.
Wow. We wanted to be close to all the action and be able to get to the golf course quickly, but also be able to afford with the 4 of us.
Throughout the day, shuttle buses bring people back and forth between the campsite and the course.
Went up to the practice area, got some signatures. We got a flag, got some cool signatures, didn't we? We got a selfie with Cam Young.
Yeah.
We met Sahith Tagala.
Yeah.
Victor Hovland, some really cool golfers.
Do you have a favourite golfer?
Yeah, McIlroy.
While fans are very much looking forward to watching the golf, they're making the most of their time outside the course too. Maria McCann, BBC Newsline at the Opens campsite in Coleraine.
Well, the hope is that all these visitors bring an economic boost to this area and further afield. Some estimates say the Open could generate as much as £200 million for the area. Well, let's get into this in a bit more detail with my 2 guests for this evening. John McGrillen from Tourism NI and Ian Kerr from Royal Portrush. Thank you both for joining me on what I'm sure is a very busy day for you. John, if I could start with you. Have you been speaking to tourist providers, businesses, traders? Are they seeing more money in their tills this week?
Well, I think certainly by the end of the week they will have seen significant more money in their tills. The economic impact that we anticipate to come from this event this year is almost twice that which we saw in 2019. And it's not just the Portrush area, it's the whole of the North Coast. In fact, the whole of Northern Ireland and further afield will benefit from this. So
and is that just because you've got more people coming this year?
Well, we've got more people coming. People are actually staying longer because previously someone may have been able to buy 4 tickets, go to the game or go to the competition for 4 days. There's been such a demand for tickets that people have not been able to do that. So they may be coming, going golfing for 2 days and then going out elsewhere and spending their money whilst they're here over that period of time.
Obviously, we did see some reports of some places putting their prices up pretty dramatically during the Open week. Were you surprised to see that? Disappointed?
Well, I think our message all along was, to accommodation providers and to retailers that to make sure that they provided value for money and their pricing was fair. And I think we're looking at one specific example, within the town. And I think I wouldn't want to paint the whole of Portrush to the North Coast like that. In fact, I would say the vast majority of the pricing that we've seen is very much fair and very much good value for money. And indeed, the interviews that you guys and others have done with the people who have been visiting have sort of indicated that that's how they found the place.
I know in 2019 you talked about the need for more accommodation along the North Coast, and you've certainly got that. There's been a huge increase in hotels and other accommodation options. What about looking ahead? What does the North Coast need to do next to improve its offering to tourism?
Well, I think it's got a superb offering to begin with. It's absolutely world class what we have on offer. And we now have accommodation to match the golf courses and the golf offer. I think what we need to try to do is expand, I suppose, the offer of world-class links golf. And thanks to Ian and his colleagues at Royal Portrush, we've seen a lot of work being done on the Valley course, and I think there's an opportunity to look to see if we can do that elsewhere.
Bring Ian in now. Ian, you're from Royal Portrush. You've been involved in this for years. Just give me a behind-the-scenes glimpse into how this comes about. What goes into the preparation for a big event like this?
A huge amount of planning, a huge amount of work. We set up our championship committee over 20 months ago, and we've got to corral 1,500 volunteers who make the Open happen, and we've involved over 21 golf clubs from around Northern Ireland. All those people have got to be trained and inducted and go through health and safety checks and everything like that. So that's one aspect of it. But then you've got the huge amount of infrastructure that you can see behind me here that's been built over the last 4 months. They started work at the start of April and really completed last week.
And that's an improvement on 2019. Certainly it seems a lot bigger.
Yeah, I don't have the exact square footage as to how much bigger it is. My estimate is it looks like it's about 50% bigger.
Right.
And I suppose the key things that you can see that are different, we've 2 spectator villages this time, whereas we only had 1 in 2019. And the main spectator village is now centrally located within the Royal Portrush complex, which means it's much more accessible. whereas in 2019 it was literally at the entrance, so people went through it as they came in and out.
Look, we don't have an awful lot of time, but I want to ask you one very quick last question. We know the Open is coming back again to Royal Portrush. Do you have a year yet?
We don't. There's been no discussions on that whatsoever. We're just looking forward to getting this one
Well, it hasn't even started
completed.
yet, so let's get
Yeah.
through this first. Well, look, thank you very much, both of you, for your time this evening. And John, I know that you're due to retire soon, very soon, after a decade at the helm of Tourism NI, so all the best for your retirement.
Thank you very much, Catherine.
and
Thank
enjoy the golf.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it from us outside the course. In a few minutes, Stephen will be along with all the news from inside the course. But for now, back to Belfast.
Yeah, Catherine, thank you very much. And it must be said, it looks like a great atmosphere up there. And there's lots more on the Open on the BBC News and Sports website right now. That's both more on the tournament itself and all you need to know if you're heading to Royal Portrush this week. You can see the address there, bbc.co.uk/newsni. Now, some other news. Inflation is rising again. Prices went up by more than expected last month, and the cost of food in particular rose at its fastest rate since the start of 2024. One grocery business is warning that prices could remain stubbornly high for the rest of the year at least, and some families are even changing the way they shop because of those more expensive baskets. Here's our business correspondent, Clodagh Rice.
Pricing is a difficult balancing act for retailers, particularly when their own costs are rising. Henderson's employ almost 6,000 people here, and their wage bill jumped after rises in minimum wage and national insurance contributions. But the grocery market is so competitive, and higher prices are already changing how people are shopping.
The consumer is visiting the stores less often, but buying more. That's typical of a cost-conscious, waste-conscious consumer living through a cost-of-living crisis.
Well, I used to do weekly, or sometimes twice a week, but I don't do it now. It's every fortnight or once a month, because it's too dear, you can't afford it.
I would traditionally try and shop once a week. That would do us for the whole week, but I'm finding it even more and more difficult to make my own budget stretch.
I would probably try to make like once a week shop and try to hope that gets me around. Just keep it as simple as that, try to keep like the bare minimums and the essentials.
Figures out today suggest food prices rose 4.5% in the year to June. That's the third monthly increase in a row and the highest level since February 2024.
Nobody likes to see prices rising on the shelves, especially when it comes to the cost of your weekly food shop. But food price inflation has remained sticky, and it's expected it could remain stubbornly high in the months ahead.
With household budgets feeling squeezed, the advice is to continue to shop around to find the best deals. Clodagh Rice, BBC Newsline.
Well, let's head back to the Open because first thing tomorrow, the Open finally begins. It promises to be quite a tournament up at Royal Portrush, and Stephen is there live for us now. Everybody's got their practice rounds in. What's it going to be like then, the competition itself?
Yeah, Chris, thank you very much indeed. The excitement is absolutely building. Tens of thousands of spectators here today for the final day's practice. And crowds so far at this tournament on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday and today are record numbers for any Open ever staged. That is pretty remarkable. Now, play will get underway at the 153rd Open tomorrow morning at 6:35 a.m. when the two-time Open champion from Ireland, Padraig Harrington, will hit the opening tee shot. And he told me today, even with all his considerable experience of 27 previous Opens, he will be nervous, but he's thrilled to be asked to do it.
The fact I accepted it in the sense of I don't want to be known as a ceremonial golfer. I don't feel like I am at the moment, and I'm prepared to put that aside to have that honour. I really do think it is a great honour, just here in Ireland, here in Portrush, a course I love. It's very fitting. It doesn't preclude me from maybe doing it somewhere else down the road, and I hope maybe I get another chance, but this is a huge honour.
And you're playing alongside Tom McKibben, who's the future perhaps of Irish golf.
It's a big week for him, isn't it? It's time in the majors he starts putting in some good numbers. If you're going to win majors, you've got to start getting yourself into top tens and things like that. So it's time for him to start moving on.
And finally, when you look around here, an Open in Ireland is very, very special. How hopeful are you that one can go to the Republic of Ireland as well in the future?
Well, look, the crowds that turn out here are phenomenal. They really do embrace it. People have come from all over the island to be here. delivered the sunshine.
Today.
I will have to say, in my considered opinion, we do the best 99s here. I've tested a 99 at every open venue, and these are the best, definitely the biggest and the nicest so far. So, yeah, we do it well. I think the players love it. Just the community turning out and supporting it. That's huge. You know, when everybody gets involved in it, you know, everybody for miles around is involved in this Open. So they take ownership, and that's why it's such a good, you know, such a good venue.
And today, the sports governing body, the R&A, said that a decision on Portmarnock in Dublin hosting the Open and the Women's Open could be made before the end of the year. They're currently undertaking a hefty feasibility study to see what the possibilities are of taking the Open outside of the UK for the very first time. Well, I'm delighted to say now I'm joined by Royal Portrush head professional Gary McNeil. For golfers, this is like Christmas Eve. Gary, how excited are you about it all starting tomorrow morning?
Yeah, really excited, Stephen. I mean, you know, it took 68 years for the Open to come back here in 2019, and here we are 6 years down the line, and we're about to kick off tomorrow morning. So tremendous excitement. The sun's out today in Portrush, and the players have been doing their final preparation today, and we've had, as you said, record crowds here today. So everybody's really excited and we're ready to go.
What have you made of the Rory McIlroy mania here this week? He turned up last night wearing that famous green jacket that he got for winning at Augusta this year.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. I was fortunate enough to be at the dinner as you were as well, Stephen. I wasn't expecting that at all. It took me certainly by surprise when Rory came into the room wearing the green jacket, and you know, it just adds to the buzz. It adds to the excitement here at Royal Portrush, and you know, Rory is such a popular player, and there's so much local support here this year. And of course, you know, this is the homecoming essentially, and no better place than Royal Portrush.
And if the dream can't happen that Rory McIlroy can win it, how do you fancy the other Irish players' chances here this week?
Well, you know, they're all in form. You know, Shane Lowry, who famously won here in 2019, has been in good form this year. Harrington's just come off a senior US Senior Open win, and you know, Darren Clark as well has won already on the senior tour this year. And Tom McKinnon had a good performance last week in Valderrama on the Live Tour event. So they're all playing well, and I suppose, you know, getting off to a good start tomorrow is really key for all of them, but they're going to have a lot of support there, certainly.
Absolutely. Gary, thank you very much indeed. Well, as you well know, Royal Portrush is regarded as one of the best courses in the world, and seaside golf through the sand dunes is called links, and it provides a very unique challenge and is something very, very special. And the star-studded field here this week have been giving the venue rave reviews, as Gavin Andrews reports.
When the sun's out and the wind drops, it doesn't get much better than this. Links golf captures the imagination of the world's best players.
I love the style of golf. I think it's a ton of fun. I think you have to be creative. You have to hit a lot of really good shots, and there's a challenge to it, but I think it's a lot of fun. And we'll see how the weather turns out this week. Weather has a pretty dramatic effect on how the golf course is going to play, and so you can play your practice rounds and prepare, but ultimately, I think when you step on the tee on Thursday, whatever the weather presents is going to be probably the strongest part of the test.
Ben, can you sum up the unique challenge of links golf and everything that goes with it?
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to get. It was just sunny about 3 minutes ago, and now it's cold and rainy, and my sunglasses shouldn't be on.
Duck and hide. How are you feeling about the week?
Feeling good. I'm excited. Links golf's the best. It's fun to be over here, and really excited about the Open Championship.
Good luck. Get on to the cover. Jordan, what's your real focus when you're playing links golf?
Controlling your flight, really, I think is the biggest deal, because you're going to have to do a lot of different things with the trajectory of the ball.
Can you enjoy it?
Oh yeah, it's my favorite kind of golf. It's my favorite tournament in the world, and for a number of reasons, but a lot of it has to do with going and playing different links all around. Now Ireland, Northern Ireland, and Scotland and England. It's each present their own unique challenge. They play a little bit differently from each other. Obviously, the topography changes a lot across the countries, but man, this one's one of the best ones. It's a beautiful track. This front nine's pretty incredible.
The real star this week is Royal Portrush. What a stage for golf's ultimate test. Gavin Andrews, BBC Newsline.
Yes, the course looking stunning. One final story tonight in football. Linfield play the second leg of their Champions League qualifying game against Shelbourne this evening at Windsor Park. Linfield trail 1-0 and manager David Healy wants his side to seize the initiative.
If we score early, great. But it's important that we start the game. We let them know that we're better than what we were last week. We're the home team. We should be on the front foot a little bit more. They want to dominate the ball, so it's important that we don't let them dominate the ball in key areas. We're not going to be coming out chasing things and leaving gaps and leaving areas wide open. That's not to say that we're not going to start the game on the front foot. We will.
A 500th game in charge for David Healy. That's it from Portrush. Join us on Radio Ulster tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. You can listen to the start of this wonderful sporting event. Back to you, Chris.
Stephen, thank you very much indeed. Of course, weather is going to be of critical importance for the next few days up in Portrush for both the golfers and the spectators to be hoping for days like this. But the North Coast could live up to its reputation of being a challenging place to play, Barra.
Yeah, I think the practice was for a treat today. Not going to stay that way, Chris. It's all change, I'm afraid. Overnight tonight and into tomorrow night. Today we hit 23 degrees, well above average, but a little bit cooler tomorrow. We'll see the cloud rolling in tonight. Going to bring a few showers, some could be heavy. It's going to be a milder night though than last night, 12 or 13 degrees. So tomorrow it's going to be a bit of a game of two halves really. Western areas and towards the north coast we have a weather warning issued by the Met Office for thunderstorms and heavy downpours. Eastern counties avoiding the worst of those, but still a chance. So that weather warning comes into force from 11 o'clock tomorrow morning right through until 8 tomorrow night. So some heavy thundery downpours pushing northwards across the island. So that warning also covers Portrush. So there's a chance there could be some disruption to play here as a result. Eastern areas not quite as bad. Some sunnier weather here. Top temperatures tomorrow around 20 to 21 Celsius. So that weather warning stays with us until 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Eventually, we see drier weather developing overnight into Friday. The cloud rolls in, it traps in the muggy air. So for some of us tomorrow night, temperatures falling no lower than about 14 or 15 degrees. So a bit of a muggy night to come. Friday itself, the cloud going nowhere fast, certainly to begin with. Mainly dry, but we can't rule out a few showers coming in later on in the day, along with some sunny spells as well. There is another chance of seeing a few showers towards the north coast again for Portrush. So for the spectators there, the rain proofs coming in handy. Sunny spells otherwise, and temperatures down a little bit, 19 or 20 degrees. Over the weekend, no relief, I'm afraid. Still showers in the forecast and still a risk of some thundery downpours. Hit and miss though, there will be some sun and temperatures will reach the low 20s.
Barra, thank you very much indeed. That is it for now. I'll be back with the late news just after 10:30, but we'll leave you with some of the pictures of glorious Royal Portrush. The Open begins first thing in the morning, and we'll have plenty on the first day of play tomorrow here on BBC Newsline. Have a very good evening.